Hello and welcome. Today we have a very special guest with us, Srikanth,
This is the thing, right? Once you get the taste of learning, you feel like you want to learn more.
who has experience working as a data scientist both in India as well as abroad. We shall learn about his experiences, how you could apply for job roles there, how you could apply for a master's program there. He has over 5 plus years of experience working as a data scientist, multiple research papers under IEEE, as well as he has held various international conferences as first author. So let us learn more about him from his own mouth.
Want to get like a lot of money? Don't go to Germany. Everyone wants to do, the heavies.
Let- So Srikanth, a very warm welcome to you.
Yeah, hi Sauro. Thank you for inviting me like for this, one-to-one conversation, and yeah, let's start or get over with it.
Right, it's just like a very good friendly conversation. So we'll just want to know more about your experience or your journey basically from India to Germany and then back to India.
I started my career in India. I mean, that was my first year, and India, the work culture, it's. I mean, I cannot complain, but the thing is that it's different compared to what I've seen in Europe and here in India. It's totally different. People take. I mean, people used to love coming to offices when I was in Germany. But in India, I don't know. I didn't feel like that connection. But however, it's fine. I mean, you get to used to the situations around. Yeah. Okay. So basically, let me start with why. Like, I just want to. I mean, since you asked this question, right? So why Germany is your like many of the people wants to know also like why not to any other countries like English speaking countries like US or any others. But however, like let's see. So I finished my bachelor's in 2014, and then I from since then I mean since my bachelor's when I started I want to do higher education. So uh, uh so I wanted to do masters in some in abroad. So basically, I did my research. I mean, basically, many of us, my friends or other friends or everyone go through consultancies. But what I did is I didn't go through consultancies. I just did some research and find out which country is suitable and so on. And according to my research, I ended up to decided to go to Germany because of my financial situation mainly.
Okay.
Because and the other aspect is that the education system in Germany is also very standard compared to in the other countries. So yeah, I went and I did my masters at Saarland University in computer science and communication. So and during my masters, we had uh, I did like we had this great opportunity to do select whichever courses you want to do. So basically, you can choose courses based on your interest. So when I went there, I tried all the courses in my first semester. So I gave a try. So I went to all the courses, I attended all the lectures, and then that's where I was introduced to machine learning for the first time
Okay.
back in 2014. Remember, this is like in
Yeah, people
2014,
people
where
didn't know about it.
yeah, back then there is no GPUs, nothing. They were like classical ML algorithms, right? Like linear regressions, and there is no Python also. Everyone are doing their own. I mean, that time, uh, like I had some PhD friends who are doing PhDs in ML, where they are writing all these codes in MATLAB. Like
Okay.
you can imagine, that's like uh, different level.
Very, very
But
difficult.
yeah, and yeah, I had some good friends who are doing their PhDs in ML, and then I mean, first thing is that during my schooling or in my plus two, I was good at math. So when I went there, this because I mean, the one thing I mainly observed is that the difference between the education system here and there is that I know, like, if you give a problem, I just used to solve it. I mean,
Okay.
it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know what where I have to use it in my real life, but I used to do just quick with equation solving and all these things. But when I went there, it's like a different experience, you know. I mean, you feel like the equations which we learn, the linear algebra, we have in 10th class also, right? It comes from 10th classes. So these things are the basic fundas of ML or data science. So then I got to know like that flavor, like the application part. So
Okay.
till my school, my bachelor's, I know to solve it, but I don't know the application. So ML is all about the application of those things. So I kind of enjoyed that. So then I shifted my, even though I was computer science, communications technology, then I started doing AI, ML, image processing, IPCV, these kind of courses, like all about speech recognition, these courses. And yeah, that's how I got into ML. And then later on, I did my thesis in ML. So the thesis was also amazing. Like the I tried different classification algorithms, but back then there was no packages. I mean, there is one like SK scikit-learn was there that time also, but we had to do some tweakings and all these things. And yeah, after my bachelor's, I then started doing a job. I mean, I started working as for a data consultant in Berlin, where I spent like an year there. So I work for this company called Cover Portal. It's one of the online retail service based company. So I worked there for 1 year, and then I mean, this is the thing, right? Once you get the taste of learning, you feel like you want to learn more. So
Right.
I got that taste in my masters. So then I mean, when I moved to working in company, I didn't feel like I was learning. I mean, it was learning, but it was not the learning I want to learn. So then I thought, okay, let me go for a research, or like to do something like development. I mean, to do some research in ML side. Then after working there for 1 year, I got a position at University of Luxembourg, uh, in University of Luxembourg in a telecom. So my background is my electronics and telecommunication. So I got an opportunity to do a research in on 5G technology in 2018. So I started working on 5G. So the goal is to implement ML algorithms onto 5G area. So I started in 2018 in Luxembourg, and then it was nice actually. I mean, because first thing is when it comes to communication side, you need to know the optimizations, and basically you need to know the convex optimization. So that's where I started learning convex optimization. But the beauty is this, that have you know this guy Stephen Boyd? Maybe
No,
you
not
might
yet.
have. Yeah, so basically this guy is the father of convex optimization. So I definitely recommend to read that book. So we had a special lecture from him in my second semester at University of Luxembourg. So he came from US to give a lecture at our lab. So that was like the fantastic level. So because in my first semester I started doing a course, I was watching his videos online and learning convex optimization. So basically everything, all the ML algorithms are everything end up there, like the convex optimization. So then I got to, I had a direct You read some guy's book, like for example, for linear algebra, Gilbert Strange. That guy is the awesome guy who teaches linear algebra very good. But when it comes to this, like you read his books, his teachings, and everything, and that guy comes to your college or your university or wherever, and you feel like, wow, that's guy, I want to have a selfie with him. You feel like that. So it was like that moment. Then, yeah, I so I worked there for like around 3 years, 2.5 years actually, two and a half 3 years. So I had published one IEEE journal and few conferences, and I also attended one of the this one summer school on ML, like MLSS. It's like machine learning summer school in Stellenbosch. Actually, it's in South Africa. So I attended to that, and it was like it was a really good experience, because you get to know like what people around the world. Actually, it's around the world summer school. So like what are the like I in 2019, I guess, I got to know about generative algorithms, like where now it's common, like all this generative these things. But back then they were like the beginning, like they were people are giving like an introduction out to generative algorithms in my summer school. So yeah, that was that. uh, and yeah, since 2021, I moved to India. It's like something personal, and I moved back, and yeah, I started working here in Hyderabad. So I worked for 1 year, and then what I after 1 year, I mean, currently I'm working at this Tarana Wireless, which is a wireless broadband company. What we do is that it's like wireless internet to homes. We collect a lot of data about how these devices are working in the real-time environment, like the metrics, the calibrations, the antennas, positionings, and all this. And what we do sometimes, basically, we do anomaly detections whenever, and also planning the path. I mean, they are technical terms, but planning the to deliver the good internet even in the worst conditions. So that's the final goal of what we do at the moment now.
Great, Srikanth. It is a very interesting and inspiring journey that you have had so far, right? Like, especially during the pandemic times and coming back to India and then picking up again back into some technology that you really enjoyed. You published your research into 5G, and now you're working in a 5G domain itself, right? So that is really interesting. So how would you advise someone who wants to pursue masters in Germany or who wants to apply for a job role in Germany? How should they go about it?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, let me be open. I mean, see, first thing is, what do you want? I mean, do you want to? I mean, there are two things, Saurav, actually here. Like like if you want to get like a lot of money, don't go to Germany.
Okay.
I mean, see, because the lifestyle in Germany, I can explain it. See, they don't care about having like so much of money, earning so much. I mean, they don't care about those stuff. They, those people care about, like, they have like, I spent this time on this. I have my personal time. I have my life. I have my friends. It's like this. But the salary things, it's not that much compared to US. I mean, I'm totally like this, because I was earning around like some amount, and my friends in US who went along with me, they were earning like two times what I was earning. But I was happy with what I was earning because I
Okay.
was enjoying what I was doing, you know. So it's like that. So I mean, apart from this, coming to how to go to Germany, this is the point you asked. So for that, it's like the moment, so don't, I mean, my sincere recommendation to everyone who is watching is that don't go through consultancies. It's waste of money. Just spend some time over the internet. Like it's I mean, we are like at that time in 2014 itself, I applied on my own. Like I had some help with like talking to friends and contacting people in Germany who are already living there, like asking them questions like is it good or whatever, like this, like those things. So don't go through consultancies. Build research about the university you want. I mean, there are like only few universities in Germany. It's easy to filter it out. And there is this website, it's called DAD, DAAD, where you can find all the information about the university and also the courses they are offering. So, and also they also have the application procedure. So there will be two types of application procedures. One is online, the second one is offline. The online thing is very easy. You just need to upload all the documents. But the offline thing is that you need to send all the documents by post, like you can do by FedEx or anything like that. And it's not that complicated. And once you get the admission, so the maximum expenditure they ask is like 10 lakhs Indian rupees actually. Okay, so you need to have around 10 lakhs in your bank account to show that you have the amount for the university fees. So that's one thing. I mean, after you finish your visa interview and everything, after you go there, you can send it back to your home. So it's not that mandatory because we generally everyone wants to do the HEVs or part-time jobs. So basically you can do HEV. So HEV is something like a student job within the university, or you can also get a job at the at the outside, like it's like a part-time job. And the one struggling thing, or the one thing everyone generally think about, is the language difference, because there it's gonna be everything will be in German. So but it's going to be a, I mean, I can say, I mean, I cannot say it's a, you cannot survive. I mean, basically everyone can survive anywhere. You just need to give it some time. So just give 6 months of your time so that you can just, once you, so it's like you keep on hearing this kind of accent in German. So once you get used to it, it's like, it's fine. I mean, you can just easily have a conversation with anyone. And also, like, not all, but at least 50% of people know English in German. I mean,
Okay.
in German, they know English, so it's not that hard. And also, the universities encourages the students to take German language courses in the university itself, and it's also free. It's, I mean, as far as I know, all the universities has this option, to do a German language course, so to survive there. Yeah. So
So
did
great.
I
I mean, like
answer?
you
Yeah.
learned
Yeah.
absolutely. You learned German in 6 months, as you mentioned, right? Nearly 6 months while conversing or
No,
like
no, no.
uh,
I mean, no, yeah, I mean, just little conversation. I mean, I didn't learn within 6 months. I mean, in 6 months, I felt like I mean, I got this confidence that I can live in Germany. Vegetarians, it's like they, I don't know, they will survive there or not,